Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the REC podcast, brought to you by the REC Toycast. I'm your host, Roman Chavez, and with me as always,
Eric Icarus.
Eric, you can find us on Instagram at REC Podcast. You can follow myself at Roman REC Podcast. And if you're lucky enough to see the Navajo pony out in the wild, Eric Icarus, come ask for a ride. All right, ladies?
Genuine feeling.
Yeah, the Navajo pony. Man,
Yes.
great week.
Yeah.
Except we're a little sick this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're under the weather this week, man.
There was some question about if we were going to do the show or not, guys.
Yep.
But we put it together. We put it together for you.
Yeah.
If you hear any grumbling, that's just our bellies. All right. Eric had an interesting topic that he wanted to talk about this week,
Yeah.
and why don't you just set it up for us, baby?
we got a lot of comic book movies out there.
Do
I
we?
I would say it's a scotch a lot.
Is it too much?
Not for me.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Marvel killing the landscape, setting the tone for it.
Mhm.
DC hit and miss, but still, these are huge movies.
Yeah.
Comic books are in the. They are the mainstay these days.
Mhm.
You know, it's not even counterculture anymore.
No, not at all. Yeah.
But this wasn't always the case.
Nope, you are
And
correct.
I think a lot of our viewers / people, the public at large, don't know that some of their favorite movies of yesteryear were based on graphic novels and or comic books.
There are a lot out there that are their source material
Yeah.
was what was written and
All
drawn.
those, they were mined from these graphic novels, and I don't know how much of these graphic novels resemble the film.
Mhm.
Some of them I do.
Mhm.
A lot of them, when you would tell me when we were researching this, I was like, whoa, I did not know that was based on a graphic novel. So I was shocked too.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting shocked, you folks are gonna get shocked.
Maybe you guys are not in the know as well. There's a few on here that are pretty popular, but there's just ones that we wanted to touch on, and then a couple that maybe you didn't know.
Yeah.
And then we got a whole long list of ones that we'll just
Kinda
clue you in on, but
Yeah.
We won't go too in
Too
depth.
hardcore into it.
Eric, would you like to kick us off?
Yeah, definitely, man. It's you want to go with here?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know this movie. If they don't, it's awesome. It's called American Splendor.
Mhm.
It's a very, very independent comic based on this gentleman named Harvey Pekar.
Mhm.
Basically just details his life. There was a movie based off of this
It
book.
was with Paul Giamatti.
Yes,
Yeah.
playing Harvey Pekar, who actually, Harvey Pekar is in the movie.
Ah.
Narrates the movie, breaks the fourth wall with Paul Giamatti.
Ah.
Like, he gives him, acting advice. Like, no, I wouldn't do that. It's actually a pretty good movie. And it basically details his ups and downs through life, basically how he gets through his life, how he fell in love with his wife, who turns out to be a complete bipolar mess.
Oh.
And it details him getting cancer,
Oh.
them adopting a daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Wow.
But it's peppered in with a lot of cool humor, dark humor.
Mhm.
And the movie was pretty good too. I would say Giamatti's just the man.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
can play anything. I love it.
Yeah.
He's just great.
Pig vomit?
Pig Vomit, indeed. That's the first time I've ever seen him.
Yeah,
Was in
that's the first time
Parts.
from Howard Stern Private Parts. That's the first time I ever saw Paul Giamatti. And it literally took until Sideways came out for me not to call him Pig Vomit in everything I saw. Because remember, he was in The Negotiator.
Yes, he was.
And we would call him Pig Vomit.
Yeah.
Just, even though that's just we just did not give him the respect.
But he earned it.
He earned it in
Darn it,
Sideways.
he earned that
Yeah.
respect, dude. Did you watch American Splendor?
Dude, I never watched American
You
Splendor.
obviously didn't read the book.
I
Obviously.
didn't read the book,
Okay.
and I just want to touch on that real quick. I am at my heart a superhero fan.
Yes.
So I love superhero books. So when I do read things that's more science fiction, space, ghost stories, supernatural type stuff, that is not my main. That wasn't what got me to the dance.
Sure. Especially something like this. I don't even know what you call this. A
Yeah.
realist?
It's just a graphic novel.
Okay.
Graphic novel doesn't, that's the big difference between the comic book and the graphic novel, is that a graphic novel is a book in pictures, but with more adult tones. For the most part.
Okay, fair enough.
So for me, this is not something that I would have jumped on.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
not at all. And
Yeah.
I watched the movie first and read a couple of the books.
Okay.
Just to get reference for it. Because I really did enjoy the movie.
And they kind of adapted some of the art in
big time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
it
the
was
titles, credits, and stuff.
Brilliantly well done.
I remember the trailer, and I was
Yeah.
like, wow, this is neat.
Yeah, it was. It was very well done, I would say. Again, and Paul Giamatti, just the master.
Yeah.
And it has a cameo from Crumb, Richard Crumb, R. Crumb. He did Fritz the Cat
Oh, okay.
cartoon comic book thing, which was a very blue, salacious comic book back in the 70s.
Oh, I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah. It's
Interesting.
just gross.
One that's really close to me and not so much to my partner here is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
I think this might actually merit an own episode eventually.
Yeah, we might have to. And actually, the movie might just... I think it's Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Uh-huh.
Because the graphic... It's a graphic novel. It's by Brian Lee O'Malley, written and drawn. He's Canadian.
Okay.
And he
We
made
won't
it-
hold that against him.
Yeah, we won't, because he's so nice. He's so nice. I met him one time at a hotel bar in San Diego.
Right.
As I meet most people.
Yes.
And he just wrote this very good story about people who I think would have graduated maybe a class or two ahead of us.
Right.
You know, like they were figuring out punk music a little bit before we were. They were skating before we were. And then they just they grew up, and we kind of saw that, and we adapted some of that. We got some of their stank on us, all right? And then we put our own stank, and we made it ours. Okay?
Yes.
You know, we took their dream of wanting to play music in clubs, and we did it.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, we
Yes.
executed.
Yes.
They gave us the plan, and we executed.
Yeah, man. Blueprints are there. They're meant to be built.
Yes, and you know, and it's about kids in their kind of college years age, early college years.
Yeah,
you know?
they getting out of high school to that trend, the bridge. You know?
Yes, the 1920,
age.
kids.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, it spoke to me so much that Scott's character was a big X-Men fan.
Right.
He even has an X-Men patch in the comic
Oh,
and
really?
in the movie.
Yeah,
and
that's
in the
right,
movie.
yes.
But they did not, I did give it serious knocks. I love Edgar Wright, but he did not put my favorite line in the whole book was when he's on his first date with Ramona Flowers, and she's like, "What's that patch for?" And he's like, "Clearly one of us went to Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters." And that is just the most smooth, pimp, daddy, nerd thing you can say to a chick who calls you on your X patch.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Okay, that's cool.
I think you'd like the book better.
I think I would too.
Because while the book is about yuppie hippie kids,
Right.
it doesn't feel that way.
Okay.
And where they really sell out on that.
I cannot stand Michael Cera for once.
Oh, that's too bad.
I can't stand him. And the movie just reeks of hipster D-bag.
Yes, it's,
You know.
while it felt more like that in the movie, it didn't feel like that when I was reading
Okay.
it. I could actually relate to the book a little bit more, and everything's drawn out because it's 7 or 8 volumes.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so it was...
yeah, it was long.
Okay,
Yeah, it was long.
pretty sizable there.
Yeah, and it's done in a manga style, not reading backwards, but like that format.
Oh.
It's black and white.
Oh.
And it's like in that size of like what a manga book looks
Sure,
like.
sure.
I don't know if you've ever seen a manga.
I
book.
do. I know
Okay.
what it is. Yes.
Manga is not my thing, but it was kind of in that style, but like a Canadian version. So it read correctly in the Western way. And yeah, it's I don't know. I think Edgar Wright really did capture it, and he added things to it to make it his own. To kind of flare it up. And I thought every Evil X fight was really fun.
Okay.
And I mean, we have so many comic book people in there. We've got now Brie Larson was the ex girlfriend.
Right.
Was his ex girlfriend.
Sure.
Brandon Routh's in there.
Chris Evans,
Man.
Mr. Steve Rogers.
It's just like so much stuff. Thomas Jane's in
Yeah.
there. Yeah, it's a who's who.
Like, so does he get with Ramona Flowers, or do they break up? I forget.
They do get together, but
Okay.
it's like it's more like a see you around, but like, they leave it on a note where they can be.
Because I always, when you say that he wears the X patch, I guess that was foreboding that he was going to be an X eventually of hers.
That's interesting, yeah, because every time in the movie they illustrate it really well,
Yeah.
but anytime an Evil X is coming up, you start to see X's in like actual the X's in the
See,
room.
already there.
But maybe that was the X we see because that was when they were on their way to the taping or whatever. I think I might be mixing that up.
Oh.
But
Anyway,
awesome
maybe I need
movie.
to read
I think you need to
novels
rewatch
first
it
and then rewatch.
I think you should. Something that we both really enjoy is V for Vendetta.
Yes. Yes.
I think a lot of people do know that this is a comic movie because this was like the first time that a unknown comic book movie did really well.
Right.
And that you wanted to tell your friends, like, oh, well, did you know it was a comic?
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't trying to tell people that The Mask was a comic book.
Sure,
you know,
sure. Yeah,
like
yeah.
this thing, people watched it and they were like, "Wow, that was really cool." The Wachowskis did
Yes,
this.
I think that's what made it such a big deal, and maybe people researched it a bit more.
Yeah,
was that it was
yeah.
the Wachowskis, and like, oh, what is this? And then they jump into the interwebs.
Awesome cast,
Oh,
Natalie
dude.
Portman.
Our main man Hugo Weaving,
Hugo Weaving
just laying it down, man.
acting his freaking face off with literally no face.
Yeah, right,
Wearing a Guy Fawkes mask.
exactly.
This was a book put out, again, written by, I assume fan of the show, Alan Moore. We talk about him enough. And David Lloyd. And yes, I'm not super kind when I speak about him, just because I think he's a little crazy. But
Yeah,
I believe he did a lot of LSD.
Yeah.
Maybe too much.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
big
know
time.
what the line is, but I don't think Alan's...
That's the line.
He did the
right
line,
there.
yeah. He did the line.
Then the line did him, and this is what we get.
Yeah, it was such an interesting book. It was such a fun movie,
Oh,
man.
it's great.
Just like they really did take a 12-issue maxi series, cut out some fat,
Sure.
and really showcased like what this, what the independent comic book scene has to do.
Sure. And it kept all the ideals intact from the graphic novel.
It was very
It
close.
transcended it pretty good. You know what I
It's
mean?
one of the closer ones that they have adapted, which we'll talk some other ones
Sure.
from Alan Moore's mind.
Yes. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Having maybe briefly read the graphic novels, thumbed through them rather, I should say. I think there were some spot-on paneling work,
Agreed.
and
Very, very good art.
Yeah.
Lloyd really does craft, especially for the time being in the 80s, he really did put the extra effort into it, where it
Wow.
kind of felt like, Marvel and DC, definitely Marvel, especially with its X-Men books, is just cranking out books.
oh, just cranking
out
on
new
these guys,
teams,
yeah.
cranking out, Alpha Flight, and, just very weird books.
Yes.
And, for somebody to take their time, like David Lloyd did, I don't want to say it's Alex Ross-like, but it's just, there's a lot of attention.
Sure.
There's a lot of attention put into the book.
It transcends comic book pages and goes into almost art pieces.
You start to see,
You know what I mean?
for me, in my, my mid-30s, our mid-30s,
Right.
it was like, oh man, this is like really, this isn't cartoony.
right.
Didn't feel
This is
cartoony.
gallery-esque art that we were
It was
seeing
serious.
here.
This was a
time.
book for mature people.
Oh, for sure. Even the tones.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We've got another one from Alan Moore too. From Hell.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Very cool movie. Drawn by Eddie Campbell
Uh-huh.
and our boy Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp and Heather Graham.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, who haven't seen it, it basically talks about with them figuring out who Jack the Ripper was.
Yeah.
That I'm not going to give it away.
Yeah.
But it's basically following Detective Aberline
Yeah.
going through the crime scenes, pulling from history.
Yes.
Um,
If you're a Batman fan for the detective parts, if you enjoy Edgar Allan Poe,
yes.
this is a very
Yeah. It's a gothic noir.
yeah. Oh, very good. Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And, having briefly, again, thumbed through the book, I am kind of mad at myself for not reading. I need to maybe go back and read some of these.
Yeah.
But I think that the book maybe got some parts that I like better. They didn't make Aberline into this opium smoking, you know what I mean? Almost a psychic.
Yeah, he
You know
was.
what I mean?
Yeah, it was more grounded.
Yeah.
It was more grounded.
Yeah, but the things they did get right were really good.
Yeah.
And I really liked the subtle touches in the movie, like bringing in the Elephant Man.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, because that would have made sense. He was there at the same time.
Yes.
Maybe we could draw conclusions that he was Jack the Ripper. Anyway, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
There's some parts in there that are really brutal. There's some brutal, murders, but again, you don't see them.
No.
You see the aftermath.
Yes.
Which, to me, is way worse.
Yes.
'Cause you
The
make
cutaways, the sounds.
Yeah, the sound design is brilliant in
Yes.
this movie.
And it's just a solid cast, and it's a movie that's actually a lot of people I don't think have seen
They,
From Hell.
they either haven't seen it or they don't like it.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand. Because it's really well directed, shot, written, adapted rather, and I don't get it. I don't get why people hate it so much.
And one of my favorite things about it, and I don't know if this is historically accurate, but the reason it's called From Hell is because I don't know if it was Jack the Ripper would leave letters or write letters in.
He wrote it to the police department.
Okay, so he would sign them from hell.
And to fact check this, they did discover that letter was a fake.
Oh, so this was based off something
That they did when they wrote the book. They thought that was for reals.
Okay.
And now going back doing forensic stuff, that was a fake letter.
Oh, that is terrible.
Yeah, because they were getting tons.
Don't watch this movie now.
I mean, it kind of takes away from it, but it's still cool. It's still cool. It plays into the lore of Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Which I'm obsessed with.
Yeah, I love it. Good, Batman story. We've talked about it a couple times. Gotham by Gaslight,
yes.
Where he's, hunting Jack the Ripper, which is, it takes place with a Batman in Victorian times. Very cool comic book written. I can't remember if it's written by Mike Mignola, but he's definitely the artist on it. Very interesting looking Batman character.
Yes.
And again, Alan Moore. We love this guy.
Good concepts.
And this might have been the straw that broke the camel's back. Alan Moore's and Kevin O'Neill's League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. This very amazing premise of British fiction
characters. Fictional characters.
Yeah, British fictional characters from novels.
Yeah.
Kind of teaming up. They're real people.
Right.
To fight Moriarty.
Yes.
To fight, fictional villains.
They're like a literary X-Men.
Yeah, it's
pretty interesting.
It's a brilliant concept. Awesome. The comic is not my favorite style of art. It's definitely more brutal than that Sean Connery movie was.
Okay, fair enough.
There's some very dark scenes in the comic book. In the comic book, that the Invisible Man is part of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and he betrays the team. Spoilers. And Mr. Hyde discovers this, and he calls the rest of the league in. He sits down at a table, puts a bib, and just starts sawing into nothing. And you just start seeing red pools start to form, and he eats Mr. Hyde, Mr. Hyde eats the Invisible Man in front of them, and letting them know that he betrayed them. And
this is what happens.
Yeah, this is what happens. Yes, it was an awesome scene that they did not do in the film. The film
That's cool.
The film is a very. It fits in that time of the 2000s.
Oh,
there was some weird steampunk.
Oh yeah! Boom! There you go.
Happening in films, most notably that and Van Helsing's Wild Wild West too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
what was up with that?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even notice it until I just said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it was a bizarre time in film, but it made for a lot of cool green lightning. There was a lot of green lightning being used too, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that visually. But the movie very much suffers from I would assume a young, ambitious director trying to get on trying to be that new music producer, trying to be that new hotness.
Yeah.
Sean Connery, it was his retirement film.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. It's not great, but because it's a little hokey. But the guy that got to play Captain Nemo, I liked. The dude that got to be Jekyll and Hyde.
Great.
I don't know. It's a cool movie about these characters, and they're fighting Moriarty. And I'm a Sherlock, fan through and through. So. Really just an awesome movie. Did you like the film?
No.
Okay, cool.
I like laughing at it.
Yes, it is a fun movie to watch, with people.
Yeah. Other than that, no, I didn't care for it. I love the premise.
Yes, the premise
I've never
is
seen
great.
a trailer for it and be like, oh god.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see this. And then being, oh god, I can't believe I watched that.
Well, and apparently, as I stated earlier, this was, it was either this or honestly From Hell, I can't remember. It was the straw that broke Alan Moore's back. After this movie, because Hollywood had just been changing his properties more than he was comfortable with.
Right.
And they really did make the LXG a laughable bunch,
Yeah.
where they're not laughable in the comic book. So it was this that Alan Moore said, I'm done with Hollywood, and he signed away all the rights to his work to the artists. So when an awesome and very well received and critically acclaimed film known as The Watchmen comes out, which is based on Alan Moore's probably his most popular story,
big time.
either that or Killing Joke.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He didn't get any money for that. Dave Gibbons got all the money.
Yep.
And that did well. And now we have a very successful Watchmen TV show going on
true.
right now, which neither of us have watched yet
Nope.
because we're cheap and don't want HBO. But we're gonna get there someday.
We'll get there
Vince.
eventually.
We're gonna get there someday. Dave Gibbons cashing that Watchmen check
Hey,
again.
good for him.
Dude, heck yeah, good for him. Because the Watchmen art is amazing.
It's great.
It's so good.
And it's cool. And again, thinking of the time period, Watchmen, great graphic novel, doesn't hold up. I like the movie better.
Oh, I like the movie better too. That is
Come at me, internet. Come at me.
Of those. Actually, I might like V for Vendetta better, the movie better than the book too. So,
Yeah.
but those are all good ones.
Yeah.
The Crow,
Which a lot of people don't know.
because it's the movie's so old now.
It is.
It's what 92,
4.
94.
94.
Starring the late.
Great.
I don't know if he was great, but this.
He was great in this, and he had so much potential.
He had so much potential.
That's why I will call him late and great.
Okay, I'll take it.
Because I think that had he got through this, boom, he would have been huge.
Brandon Lee is who we're talking about.
Yes.
The son of the true late and great. Bruce Lee.
Yes.
Dude, you know we're older than Bruce Lee was when he died?
No.
How crazy is that? That blew my mind the other day. I was like, oh my God. Dude, I think he's 32 or 33
So that's depressing.
when he passed. Yeah. Yeah, we're older than Brandon Lee.
Yeah,
When he
yeah.
passed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, it's
Yeah,
depressing.
it's sorry guys, I didn't mean to get so reflective and serious.
No,
on
hey
it,
man, that's
but
what
that's
this show's
crazy.
about, man.
That's
hey, man,
so
I'm down with
crazy.
that. That's it's weird. It's freaking weird, man.
For those that haven't seen the film, it's about this character Eric Draven and his girlfriend fiance Shelley,
Yes.
and they live in what is essentially Detroit.
It's Detroit.
But
yeah.
I don't think they actually call it Detroit.
They don't in the movie, but the book they just say straight up Detroit.
Okay, because
yeah.
it reminds me of what I think Detroit is, because I've never actually been.
And yeah, it looks like Detroit.
But they live in this really run-down, crime-ridden town, and there's like this night of the year. I think it's supposed to be Halloween.
It's the night before Halloween.
Okay, night before Halloween. It's called
Devil's
Night, man. And it's just like it's like a war zone. It's like the Purge before there was
basically,
a Purge.
yeah. This gang gets together. Top Dollar is the name of the gang leader.
Yep.
And he just sets the gangs loose and says, "Go loot, pillage. I just get my taste, but you guys get your taste, and we do it one night a year.
Yep.
Kind of keep the balance.
Yes.
Very purgy.
Very purgy. And Eric and Shelley are, they're lovers, this and that. And spoilers, and it's not really a spoiler because it's in the trailer.
Yeah.
Shelley gets killed on Devil's Night, and so does Eric.
Yes.
And through James O'Barr's mythos,
yes,
a crow can carry a soul that has unfinished business from the other world back here.
Yes.
And can give him the power to seek the vengeance he craves.
Right.
So he's like a little faster, a little stronger. He's got a healing factor.
Can't die.
He can't die unless you hurt the crow. The crow's like his avatar.
There you go.
And it's just a very I don't know. I still think it holds up.
There are points in that movie where some of the dialogue actually gets me a little choked up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's really well written.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it they're pulling straight from the comic or graphic novel or whatever, but some of it really well acted. Ernie Hudson kills it in this movie as the cop. Mm-hmm. Even the guy who played Top Dollar was menacing.
Oh, yeah. He's awesome. That guy's awesome.
I mean, even the goons that were the ones that murdered Eric and Shelley were all great.
Yeah.
And it really
fire it up.
I loved it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a great movie. Yeah. Again, maybe the book's not the best.
Yeah.
It's just out of my comfort zone as far as aesthetics, I guess.
Yes. James O'Barr was going through I think he lost
his wife died.
His wife died, and he kind of processed his grief through writing.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
And the book is drawn, it's not my brand style.
It's drawn how somebody, I think, like that would draw it.
It looks like a
something
coked out mime.
Yeah.
But they really did.
He based it off Iggy Pop, so that's actually perfect.
No, perfect. There you go. And, the movie's fun. If you've not watched it, again, it's old now.
Yeah.
If you've not watched it, it's definitely worth it was, when I watched it, I didn't know it was a comic book.
Oh, me either.
Because you couldn't read that comic book.
No.
You couldn't even get it. It's a very rare book. Very rare book.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, they, first printings. It's just
I'm sure you could get something off the rack now.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can get the trade.
Trade. That's
you could read it, but the actual first printings are tough to get.
I'm sure it's just on crappy paper too.
Yeah, black and white book.
Yeah,
very much magazine paper.
Oh yeah,
or newspaper type
feel.
feel.
One more thing about the movie, what also makes this movie amazing is the soundtrack.
Yeah,
The Crow soundtrack is just phenomenal. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at
And
that.
the Crow. Now there were subsequent Crow movies and a TV show that were hot garbage, but I remember the Crow 2: City of Angels had a good soundtrack too.
It did. It
Which one had the song from Hole?
That was the 2 City of
Yeah,
Angels. That
yeah.
was them covering Gold Dust Woman.
Gold Dust Woman. Yeah, I love that cover.
That's not bad. Courtney
Yeah.
Love not being terrible. in
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Hey,
Yes.
good for you, Courtney. Good
Yeah.
job not being terrible once in your
Yeah.
life.
But yeah, even the second one had some decent ideas, just directed really crappy. David Goyer of Batman,
Yeah.
Nolan fame,
Yeah.
wrote this movie. Wrote Crow 2, rather. So.
Yeah, he wrote some Blade movies too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he's written a lot of comic book related things. He writes for TV shows and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that guy just he's a good idea machine.
Yeah.
Doesn't always execute, but I mean the guy he's throwing so much darts and a lot of them are sticking.
There you go. That's a good way to put it.
Now this is a great one that people don't know.
They don't know.
And it's got such a good cast. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, we're bringing up Road to Perdition of Tom Hanks' vehicle.
Tom Hanks, Daniel Craig,
Daniel Craig,
young Daniel Craig,
very young.
Jude Law.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I forgot he was in that.
yeah.
Sam Mendes directing. If you don't know who Sam Mendes, he directed American Beauty. If you don't know what that movie is, you're terrible.
You're not terrible. Maybe you're young. Go check it out.
Yeah,
It's an awesome
check it
movie.
out, boy.
1999, the year that was.
Go check out our episode.
Yeah. Check out our episode
But,
on the movies of 1999.
The movie is amazing. I loved it, and again, didn't know it was
Yeah.
a graphic novel
Mhm.
until well after I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
And being really shocked, like, wow, I cannot believe they based this amazing movie that was nominated for a few awards, I'm assuming, because it was that good.
Well, it kind of felt like it wasn't well received. Like I think it was critically acclaimed, but a lot of people didn't watch it.
Really?
A lot of people didn't watch it. You know, it was a very dark movie for Tom Hanks to do.
Oh, yeah. Played a hitman.
Played a hitman who was trying to keep his son safe.
Yeah. Which,
You know, and it's pretty rough. But it was the first time that I ever saw Daniel Craig.
I saw him in Layer Cake.
I didn't see Layer Cake at that point. Yeah, I hadn't seen him at that. So, but yeah, it's an interesting movie. Hitman, 1940s.
Yeah, roughly, sure.
You know,
sure.
Tommy guns.
Yes.
Tommy guns,
Yes.
long jackets, nice hats.
Girls with gams.
Yeah, with them gams, the gams. I think I just said grandma. So, with those girls with their grandmas. Yeah, it's a very serious movie. Honestly, I watched it the one time. I was like, wow, that was interesting.
Right. It's a one watcher.
Yeah.
It's definitely. I hate to say it. There's some movies where you get the emotional impact out of one view.
Yeah,
and that's one of them.
Yeah, and I'm fine with
because
that.
it's depressing.
Yes,
It's very depressing. Again, I love depressing movies, but that one for me was like, okay, I got it.
I like the tones too, like the kind of green and rust.
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of like you smell. It feels old.
Big time.
The movie feels old.
Oh yeah, and then also when he's around his son, you're getting the warmth.
Yeah,
and it's cool.
Yeah.
I love how Sam Mendes is just a genius.
Yeah.
And having not really read the graphic novel, but thumbed through it, you can tell there were pretty good panel to film scenes there.
Yeah.
They did a good job with that.
Yeah.
You know, Sam Mendes does his homework. I will just say that.
Yeah.
So cool movie. Check it out if you haven't seen it, and if you have now know that it's based off a graphic novel, rewatch it.
Yeah, maybe it'll give you a different view.
Yes.
We also kind of have a list of just some quick ones.
That you might not even know.
Yeah. Men in Black series.
Yeah, people that might not know.
Yeah, you just found that out.
I did.
Yeah, you just found
Blew
that
my
out.
mind.
Jim Carrey's The Mask.
Yes.
From Dark Horse.
Very violent comic book.
Man, the mullet himself. Time Cop. Some Jean-Claude Van Damme going on there. The Losers. I love this book.
I don't even know what this is.
I believe it's from Vertigo, and it's it's a more adult A-team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the comic is far more brutal than the movie, but the movie, had oh god, what's his name? Negan.
Oh, Jeffrey Dean.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan, had Idris Elba, has Chris Evans.
Oh my god.
Has Zoe Saldana. Dude, it's full
of who's who here, man.
Yeah, and it's excellent. And I'm a huge fan of Don't Stop Believin', and there's a great chase scene to Don't Stop Believin' while Chris Evans is running. It's awesome. It's awesome. And you can tell Chris Evans is bulking for Cap.
Right.
At this dude, he's jacked. He's jacked. I'm like, dude, why Why are you taking off your shirt? Like you're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing yourself. The Surrogates.
Yes, I don't know what this is. Heard the name?
Yeah, this is a Bruce Willis movie. Oh, where like people can live their lives through a surrogate like robot.
I didn't know that was a graphic novel.
There you go. Yes, you just learned. It's okay. You might like it because it feels
Blade Runner-y.
It's the art. It's an interesting interpretation of what's his face from 30 Days a Night. It kind of looks like that. It's a very different style.
So it got the watercolor going.
It's got a little wall, but it's like a really scratchy.
Gotcha.
It's really scratchy.
Okay, I'll check it out, man.
But the movie's okay and the book's okay. Like neither of them are must reads or must watches. But
if you get around to it, one of those.
If it's on Sci-Fi, I check it out.
Right,
I check it out. The Fountain, something I've never seen.
It's depressing because this is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's got Wolverine in it, right?
Hugh Jackman. Can't even go into what the movie's about. Let's just say it talks about life and death and how to transcend it.
Yeah.
Did not know this was based off a graphic novel.
Oh man,
I love this movie so much. I almost got the tattoo of the tree on my arm.
Wow.
And people who know me know I hate tattoos.
Yeah.
That's how close. That's how much I love this movie.
Eric's body's a temple, kids. It's a temple.
And I treated it so well.
Yeah. The Rocketeer, classic.
Oh.
I think a lot of people might know that, but... Older folk, yeah. But maybe there's
people who knew Dick Tracy was...
Yes. Pulp comic type stuff.
There you go. Boom.
Korean graphic novel, Old Boy.
Which I didn't know.
Brutal book, film from 2003. Not the remake with Josh Brolin, even though I thought it was okay. Eric did not like it.
Didn't care for it.
Red, another Bruce Willis movie.
Yeah.
Retired, Extremely Dangerous, super fun,
It's fun.
action comedy.
It's cute. I like it.
A History of Violence.
Which, wow.
Yeah.
David Cronenberg, masterpiece. Didn't know watching it, but found out after that it was a graphic novel. And everybody, this is one I'm recommending. Watch this movie.
Yeah.
And then go read the graphic novel.
Yeah, it's super graphic. It made me uncomfortable a couple times, but it's not like an uncomfortable movie. It's not like a gory movie, although there is some gore.
Sure.
There is some violence.
It's there and it's right in your face.
Oh.
But it's the tension.
Yeah.
That's what makes it hard to watch. But it's great.
It is very good. It's got
Viggo, our main man, Viggo Mortensen,
and
Ed Harris,
John Hurt or what's his name?
William Hurt.
William Hurt. John Hurt.
He had 10 minutes of screen time and got an Oscar nom.
Yeah,
that's how good he was.
He was so good.
Yeah,
he was so good. And then this one was kind of fun. Wanted.
Yes.
With it's a slap in the face of what the comic is.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's dude.
This is the Angelina Jolie.
Yeah. Okay. Spoilers, kids. It's really only Wanted in name and characters. Dude, none of that stuff with curving the bullet. The loom of fate. You know that really ridiculous thing that they we read the bumps in this loom. Dude, they made that up. They made that up. It has don't cut Mark Miller a check. You could change all of these names. None of it, because the names in the movie or in the comic book actually kind of have something to do with who the characters are.
Right.
Wanted, the comic, is actually about this this universe where the bad guys won.
Okay.
They won.
That's cool.
Lex Luthor, all of these, they're not Lex Luthor, but they're
archetypes.
They have Mr. Rictus. They have those characters, archetypes win.
Okay, which is awesome.
So they literally mind wipe the universe from knowing that superheroes ever existed, and they each get a section of the planet that's theirs. They get to do with what they want. And in the and there was a guy who you love, who was very much like a Bullseye, based off of Tommy Lee Jones, his look looks like Tommy Lee Jones, and the main guy is based off of Eminem.
Oh.
Yeah, the artist did him that way.
That's cool.
And that dude's, his dad, his superpower is that he's excellent at killing.
Okay.
So he can, throw knives and he's like Bullseye.
Okay,
cool.
That's
he's
awesome.
like a Bullseye. But it's genetic. So his son is this, and somebody's going after Eminem character, basically. Right. Wesley, I think is his name. And it's just this crazy movie comic that has nothing to do with this movie.
This has nothing like the movie.
Nothing at all. But a bunch of the villains get bored, so the Lex Luthor type character, he creates an interdimensional thing so they can go to other Earths and
Just-
like raid it.
and
Just
screw
like
around.
yeah, get their itch. Get their itch.
That sounds so much more compelling than what we got.
Yes, it's a very, very interesting comic.
That's
Although
such
it does
a-
have a sign off in the end that's kind of a middle finger to the reader. But other than that,
Like, is it straight up meta? Like, ha, you're dumb for reading this
basically,
kind of thing. Oh, okay, fair
yeah,
enough. Okay.
basically, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's the most irritating thing. But yeah, it has nothing to do with that movie.
That's
that being
depressing.
said, the movie's kind of fun.
Okay.
The movie's fun.
Yeah, I watched it one time.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's fine.
yeah. There's some cool stuff in there. I think that curving the bullet
Yeah,
thing,
that's cool.
and I think
Sure.
that Luma Fate, while stupid, it works in the
It
movie.
works in the movie.
yes,
But it is silly.
yeah,
It is very silly.
So, kids, that's
That's
a
it.
bunch of movies
Yeah.
that
If you didn't know, we're based off of cool graphic novels and our comic books.
yes. There's more
The
that
more
they're
you know.
there's more that they're offering than just superheroes just straight up.
Right.
I think that there's a couple too that can be that are just ripe for
I
adaptation.
know. Oh, I want it.
What do you think? Sandman,
See,
Vertigo, Sandman.
I have never read it. And
Man,
you told me to read it.
it's so
Everyone
up your
tells
alley.
me to. Yeah. And, I mean, if you listen to Joe Rogan podcast, I think Kevin Smith talks about
Yeah.
this in his podcast, and
Yeah.
it brings him to tears.
Yeah.
And I want to read it so bad.
The Sandman is literally like the embodiment of like dream and
Like
sleep.
Morpheus, right?
Yeah, he is Morpheus.
He is Morpheus.
Yeah, he is Morpheus.
Oh.
Yeah, he is Morpheus. They call him Daniel. They call him Dream. So he's like the king. He's like the king of sleep.
Okay.
And this like death cult. They're trying to summon death and like capture it to like give them power.
Right.
Well, they mess up the spell. Well, death is his sister. So they accidentally bring Morpheus into this like thing, and they think that he's just like lying to them. So they keep Morpheus imprisoned for like years. It's not like hundreds of years, but it's like a
It's
long
all the time. Yeah.
And like he's reaching out to people in their dreams for help. Batman, Constantine. He's reaching out to like different people to like try to get out. And
That
like
is so cool.
yeah, so like the closer you are to is like Area 2, I think your dreams are a little weird.
Sure,
where they're,
sure.
like, keeping him and everything.
Yeah.
So after he gets, this is all in the first book, so it's not really like spoiling. This is just set up for the big story. He's missing like pieces of his like, it's not a staff, it's like some artifact that he uses to control dreams.
Sure.
And he has to go find these pieces. And and that's kind of like it's called, and all of the graphic novels are like have really cool titles. Like I think their first one is Preludes and Nocturnes.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Oh
it's-
my. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
How
you
is
gotta
this-
read it. You gotta read it. Neil Gaiman. It's. I like people who like it and talk to me about it. It's a little heavy for me.
Okay.
It's a little heavy for me. You'd love it,
Okay.
but it's a little heavy for me. So when people who enjoy reading it tell me about it,
Right.
I enjoy that more than I did than when I read it.
It's one of those cool. You want to see what other people interpret from. it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then discuss it. Those are
Yeah.
my favorite kind of.
Oh,
books.
totally. Totally.
Now that you're telling me this, I think this would make a better miniseries.
I think so too.
Than
I
a
think it's
movie.
ripe for that because it did have a pretty long run, like probably in the 60 or 70 issues, if I remember
Okay.
correctly. And then a lot of interesting things came out of it. Like I said, Constantine would show up, and then Lucifer, which they made. They have a current show going on right now for Lucifer.
Based off of this, Lucifer.
It is and it
Yes and
isn't.
no? Okay.
Yeah, like there are a lot of notes from it, but
Sure.
they don't really talk. They don't talk about Sandman at
Gotcha.
all.
Of course not.
Yeah, so it's definitely like adjacent. It's Sandman adjacent. And he's got like a nightclub.
Sure.
It's Lucifer
Of course
Morning
he's got
Star.
that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but the Lucifer series, friend of the show, Casey Duke, loves the Lucifer comic. I'm gonna mess up who does what, but what's interesting is like Lucifer and Michael, one of them can create matter, and the other one can shape matter.
Okay.
So you need, and then God gives
Gives
that
you that
matter.
spark.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like they're all like recipes of like
Right.
of creation.
But all ideas are sparks in motion in your brain.
Yeah.
So boom. So that's brilliant. Man, I really want to see that. Watch
Lucifer.
this, rather.
Yeah, I think you'd like the Lucifer comic a
Okay,
lot too.
fair
Yeah.
enough, okay.
You and Casey have a lot of the same
Yeah.
taste when it comes
Oh,
to comic
Casey.
books. Hey Casey, if you're listening, Eric's crushing on you. It's really grossing me out. All right.
I'm going to bring one up real quick. We should. I don't know how you feel about it, but Nemesis.
They're supposed to.
No.
They're supposed to.
Mark Millar.
Yes, and
Okay.
he wrote Wanted, wrote a lot of these, and I believe Netflix brought the properties. It was Netflix or Amazon.
Okay, so it's in development
it's in the
hell,
works.
just like
It's in the
Sandman.
works.
Okay.
It's in the works. Yeah. So I'm hoping that one.
If you don't know what Nemesis is, it's think about Batman if he was just off the rails.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. Go
Yeah.
read it. It's a one-shot book, right? From what I
Yeah,
understand.
it's
So I only have the trade.
They
You
were
bought me the
going to
trade
do
for my
Nemesis. They were going to do Nemesis 2, and then it fell apart.
birthday. Okay,
Yeah.
which I don't think it needs it to.
Mark Millar and Steve McNiven.
There you go.
And
The
such
art
a
is brutal.
interesting story. It's basically about the anti-Batman. He's a guy he's like wears all white.
Yep.
And he's like
He
the world's
wants you to see
greatest.
him.
He's the world's greatest supervillain, and he basically goes to a new city in the world and finds out the top cop and like wages war on the city until either he kills the top cop or the top cop kills him. And it's deranged in parts a lot,
yes.
but for the most part it's really just interesting. But there's some what I would call like gross stuff, like how I talk about the boys being gross.
This got one or two parts.
It's got a cut, but they were really gross.
Yeah. But it does tie into the story.
It does, and it really does
push-
sell the evil.
Yeah. And let's not forget the twist ending.
Yeah,
The ending is really
very
cool.
interesting.
Very
So,
cool.
very good book to just go read,
Yeah,
guys.
because it's a one shot. Just pick it up, read it. It's awesome.
And then there's one that's really off the beaten path,
Yes.
I think. And a lot of
Over
people
the
haven't
summer.
read it. It's called Dynamo 5.
Yep.
And Dynamo 5 is a very interesting book in where the Superman of this world dies. And I believe he was like assassinated. But he's like not like our Superman. He's got a lot of powers, and like not just the normal Superman powers. He also has like he can also shapeshift. He also has like telepathy.
So he's like Martian Manhunter and Superman. slammed
Yes,
together.
very good.
Okay.
Yes, very much so. And he dies, and he's like by far the most powerful hero. So the villains are starting to get their stuff together. Well, his Lois Lane is kind of like the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., more or less.
Right. Uh-huh.
And so she goes and looks for his illegitimate children. And she finds his illegitimate children
Yes,
because
right,
while he
yes.
is the greatest superhero, he also shapeshifted and had made love to numerous women. And his children have his powers.
Mm-hmm.
And so she puts a team together because the hero's name, I believe, is Captain Dynamo.
Right.
So she puts 5 of the kids together, and they are the Dynamo 5.
Because the kids have one of his powers.
One of his abilities,
Right.
yeah. Like the little goth girl, she has super strength.
Yeah, which is cool.
The jock, he's got the telepathy.
Yep.
You know, it's interesting.
It's a very interesting comic, and I remember when you gave it to me to read, I was like, I don't think I'm going to like this. And then loving it.
Yeah.
And yes, I think this would on par with Umbrella Academy.
Yes, it would serve
work.
Netflix
It would
well
work.
to purchase this
Yeah.
and then do what they do to
I-
make it
I
more
think if
digestible.
Right. If Netflix is going to survive, like I think
This
you're
what you
right.
gotta do.
Just start
Yeah.
picking up these properties.
All the image books,
Yes.
do all of the image things before they go to the big studios
yes.
and get your
Get
nut.
yours. Get
Yeah.
yours, baby.
All right, kids, that's our show for today. If you like what we're doing, please hit that subscribe button. Leave us a comment. Is there a book that you think needs to be adapted? Is there a really cool movie that you're like, did you guys know that this was a
Yeah.
comic book? Please leave us a like. Leave us a review on all of the podcast platforms. It helps us get more ears on us. Eric, what did you learn today?
I need to get on Sandman.
Yeah, you
I just need to just go. I'm going to go and buy a bunch of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I need to. Sounds amazing.
I learned that like the landscape of the comic book film industry is very much like the landscape of comics in the 90s. You have Marvel just cranking it out,
Right.
putting out just hot book after hot book, early 90s.
Sure.
And the DC just like, okay,
We got
these are the guys that we do, and we do these ones really good, but we do these ones and people don't like them, but they like the look, so they'll keep buying it. And then you have, the Image Dark Horse comics of all these other indie movies where it's like, man, you gotta watch. Dude, have you seen The Losers? Dude, The Losers is awesome. Like all of this other things, like it's just little indie books.
Totally.
But it's very much like that 90s boom
Yeah.
in film form right now.
That's interesting.
It is.
That's
interesting.
very interesting, man.
I
I learned that too.
Hey, we learned some things.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. I have been your host, Roman Chavez.
I'm still Eric Icarus.
We had a long one today, guys, but we
Yeah,
hope
it
that
was
you
cool.
liked it. Please tell your friends, and we will catch you on the next podcast.